Hi, I'm Wheeler Winston Dixon, James Ryan Professor of Film Studies at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and I want to speak today about minorities in film. Minorities in film have traditionally been deeply underrepresented. The cinema, when it began, had women directors, and there was much more representation of women and African Americans than there were after 1920. But after 1920, when the production code began to be enforced under the Hayes office, a very rigid racial segregation took place. Differently abled peoples, Asian American stereotypes, such as the Charlie Chan films or the Mr. Wong films, abounded, particularly during World War II. There were a number of incredibly offensive Asian American stereotypes that were used. African Americans, of course, were completely almost absent from the screen. Louis B. Mayer, the head of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, once said that African Americans should never appear in films unless they were porters or shoeshine boys. So this was left to African American directors like Oscar Micheaux, the pioneering director who made something like 35 films entirely on his own on budgets of $10,000 to $5,000 to represent the African American experience on the screen, because it simply wasn't being shown in Hollywood movies. Gay and lesbian stereotypes also dominated the screen during this period, and this is only recently breaking down, particularly in the case of gay and lesbian stereotypes. There were Jewish stereotypes as well. In pre-code films, this ethnicity was more or less acknowledged but not satirized, but as it moved forward in the 1950s, these things became much more pronounced.
That's a Jewish star. I thought you said it was Arabic. I thought it was Arabic.
In general, movies in the 1930s and 40s, what we like to call the golden age of cinema, projected an artificial sort of all-white world to the American public, best epitomized perhaps by the Andy Hardy films, which all took place in the mythical Midwestern city of Carvel. This was sort of the ideal America that MGM and the other studios wanted presented, but it's not a representation of real life, and it excludes so many minorities. We're now finally seeing this, and film motion pictures finally are coming of age and acknowledging that we're all part of the human family. I'm Wheeler Winston Dixon, and this is Frame by Frame.